Welcome to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast for club owners, operators, and fitness professionals. Each week, host Bryan O'Rourke brings you an expert interview with a global influencer at the crossroads of fitness and technology. You gain the insights, tools, and inspiration you need to stay connected to the pulse for what matters most for your business in the age of exponential technologies.
Welcome, listeners, and thanks for joining. I am your host, Bryan O'Rourke. Welcome to this episode of the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast, where today we have an executive for a brand that I really find fascinating, BasicFit. BasicFit is, of course, a public company. I recommend that you Google them, get their public information, look at this company. Today, Marcel Boots, who heads up digital fitness and innovation at BasicFit, is our guest. And, you know, Marcel has been in the industry for over 35 years, an extensive background. He's very well known. I've followed him for a number of years, have had the pleasure to visit with him. And today he's really going to talk about, you know, BasicFit, what they're doing and their strategies, what they have done, what is going to happen in the marketplace. You know, with over 1,000 clubs in Europe, they are quite a successful operation, and the way they have automated their business and provided an omni-channel experience. If you've been to my presentations, you know I'm a big fan of this company. So we really had a great time, Marcel and I, chatting about these things and more. So without further ado, let's get on to the interview with Marcel Boots. Well, hello, listeners. As I said in the intro, and I was telling Marcel this before we were on, and you know this, I've been touting BasicFit for a number of years now as what I would consider probably one of the most innovative health club gym chains in the world. So it's a great honor, Marcel, as the head of digital fitness and innovation for that brand, to have you on the podcast. Welcome, Marcel. Thank you for making time.
Thank you for having me, Bryan. Good to chat again.
It's good. I've had the privilege of seeing you over the years and follow your company very closely. For the audience, would you mind describing a simple background of BasicFit, kind of a little history and where the brand at over 1,050 locations today, where the brand is today? Could you give us an overview?
Yeah, maybe a little history where we started, because our CEO, René Moos, already started to build a chain of fitness clubs in the past, which was more an all-inclusive brand called Health City. And we were comparable, like 24-hour fitness formula with all included group classes, swimming pools, sometimes sauna, and so on. And we've seen the development abroad, mainly Germany, where McFit started, and also in the Netherlands, of the low-cost gyms coming in the market. And we've looked at that market and Health City bought a small chain of clubs, BasicFit, 30 clubs at that time. We started to learn from that model. And also we saw that that was far more profitable than the Health City formula. So over the years, we've seen that scaling was our main target, because we had ambitious growth plans. And scaling is much easier in the low-cost formula than labor-intensive, all-inclusive formula. So we started to convert basically the Health City clubs into BasicFit clubs over the years. And then 2016, we had our IPO. And then we really started to scale up fast. So when we had our IPO, can't remember exactly, but around 350 clubs. And in the years since, we've built that to 1,050 clubs. Now, most people in the US would think that's like you do on franchise very quick, but these are all company owned. So we've got really, really good property development team and building team over the years. Same people who have built our clubs 10 years ago are still with us. We added a few suppliers because of the number of clubs we do nowadays. Before COVID hit us, we did around 150 clubs a year, so 3 clubs a week. This year, we had to increase the pace because we lost some time during the 2 years COVID. And this year we are aiming to open 250 clubs, which is 5 clubs a week. And that means you've got a pipeline of many more clubs. So this is really a military operation, really well organized, and with a team which is just rolling out clubs one after the other. So
go ahead.
Sorry, that's the history. Yeah, and if you ask our brand what we stand for, we really wanted to convert the idea of an all-inclusive club into a low-cost club. So the only way to do that is to use tech. Simply, we replaced our sales team by a kiosk and online sales. We replaced the host by an info point in the club where you can find all the information. We replaced the instructor by having separate PT and physiotherapy services in our clubs. And also for those people who don't want that service, we had our app for training programs and so on. So basically we try to replace scalable services by tech, what we had in our all-inclusive clubs. So we are low cost, high touch. That's what our formula stands for.
It's amazing because having talked about, the future, when you look at the things that you have done, the degree of automation you've brought into your organization, what you have done and how you deliver on omnipresence, really you're executing the theory that I've been talking about for years. You're doing it just beautifully, even investing heavily in content production. I mean, there's so many things you're all doing well. Let me ask you the question. So in your role, because you've been with the brand for 6 years, so you've been really driving this kind of digitization and technology innovation for BasicFit. How have you approached that? And what are the challenges and opportunities that you faced over the years with getting it done?
I think you need to have a CEO, an entrepreneur with guts, who is not afraid to invest and also not afraid to fail. But if we fail fast and do it better. So we really were able, and the good example is content production. Our CEO happened to have an empty discotheque, which was not used anymore. And we wanted to turn that into a club, but we were not allowed. We couldn't get the permission. So it was at some point in time just stock and other. It was more a warehouse than anything else. So at that time, this must have been 2016, 2017. We've seen Peloton come up in the US, and we've been to New York, and we've seen how they were able to convert the group class experience into digital. And we came back, and I tried to convert René Moos, our CEO, into the idea of producing our own content. And after he had been to New York and seen the Peloton experience, he said, okay, let's empty the discotheque within half a year. I want a video platform, our own classes, and so on. So we simply did that. And this is a beautiful high-level studio where we do production with 4 cameras, full director room. We've even got 6 hotel rooms there. So if people from abroad, from France, from Belgium, from Spain are coming to do the production, the instructors, we've got a restaurant next door. So it's really high-level production place. So 2018, January, we already had our own video platform and high-level classes, because I think the classes we do, the GXR classes, are really high level. They are close to what Apple or Peloton does, really high-level classes. So another experience you would not expect from a low-class gym, but since we can scale, we can do it well and then scale it, because you produce for 300 clubs, but now for 1,000 clubs, and we still do the same production. So per club, it's becoming cheaper.
It's amazing. I mean, the other thing that for people that don't know, I'm sure many do, but is the degree of automation that you've put up with your central command center that oversees all of your physical operations with very sophisticated camera and voice microphones and other things. Can you share a little bit of that for the audience, please?
Yeah, that's again, Nemos, our CEO, wanted to have 24-hour clubs, because we have not been 24 hours and it was too costly. And then we said, okay, we want to do 24-hour clubs, but then during the night hours, we don't want to have our own staff. So remote control. And we've looked at systems in the market, like you got these security systems, like on the airports and so on, but it didn't fit our needs. So we started a company to roll out our own software, intelligent camera software. And we are able now, we call it man down, or when someone is not moving for too long, we are able to react our cameras. But in the beginning, we cut reactions on every yoga class, so we had to adjust the system. And we have aggression detection. So if someone raises his voice, the camera pops up and so on. And now we are able to run clubs during the night with remote control, and it's really safe and people like it. And we've had cases like you have with so many clubs, you always have incidents like people getting a heart attack, or we are quicker to react with our cameras than staff can do being on the top floor or bottom floor. And so we have really helped people and saved lives by the intelligent camera system. So yeah, we are very much like, okay, if it's not existing in the market, let's develop it ourselves. So this is our own company now, and we can run 2,000 clubs remote from that center. We're only halfway, so we already built that to scale further.
It's amazing. I mean, it's just, I've seen it in action, and it's just fascinating. So given all of the innovation, and those are just a few of them, listeners, there are plenty more we can talk about. But given all that you've done, Marcel, how do you see this tech digital continuum continuing to impact our space from an industry perspective? What is your view on that influence of tech in the space?
I think, over the years, we've all seen that some of the technologies have really developed fast. For me, there are two converging technologies. One is the speed of internet and the way to deliver content. And the other is AI, where you can combine feedback and knowledge, personalization, and those two combined is actually what Peloton and the others are using. And we've looked at that like, okay, we want to give in a sort of, self-service environment, which we are, because I think we are the most cost-effective operator maybe in the world. We run our clubs with 2.8 FTE, so which means one member of staff during the day hours. And we only can do that if we can add services to make the gym feel more personal, either in person with personal trainers or physiotherapists, or by digital. So the digital experience of our app and the content we deliver becomes better and better. In the past, we have been working with outside suppliers, but we've seen we are very much data driven, and we couldn't get everything out what we wanted. So literally the month when COVID hit us, we decided to build our own app. And at the same time, that turned out to be, in the meantime, 3 apps which we have in the App Store. So we spent the last two years to start totally from scratch and build our own app. And that's really becoming the AI and content delivery tool to our members, and not only in the clubs, but also at home. And we're going to extend the at-home experience, so really it fits in the total fitness experience, because we believe very much in the habit loop, that people who are able to continue their habit loop, they will stay. We've done a lot of data analysis with the data sets we have of 2.3 million members, and people continue when there's not a disruption. Even a holiday or a Christmas can be a disruption to continue your habit. So if you are able to continue that habit outside of the club, there's more chance that this habit loop continues. Like we've seen in COVID terms, if you are able to do a Peloton ride at home, it feels like the gym, and then you go back to the gym and do other things, you're not disrupted. So we believe very much that we have to extend beyond the walls of our brick and mortar clubs and deliver that experience at home or outdoors, or through our coaches. And then one seamless experience, so people feel part of a one-stop shop.
It's so, speaking of this in theory, that's why I know the listeners, that's why I loved having Marcel on. I'm, again, so thankful for that. Is, I really encourage folks to learn about what BasicFit's doing, because my belief is that they are on the cutting edge of creating omnipresence experience. They're really doing it. How do you see, Marcel, do you see this becoming more of the standard for operators and approaching it this way in the coming decade? What other things do you see happening amongst other operators in the next decade with these kind of trends? What is your view on that?
I think there are a number of operators worldwide who really are on the same level. I know we have colleagues in South America called SmartFit. They're really good at it as well. We know Pure Gym from the UK, Gym Group, they are really good at it as well. So I think those who have started to invest in ICT and really started early, they are now able to adapt to what's happening in the market. If you only start now, you're a bit too late, because some of the services are already done by others, and you have to buy it. If you want to start from scratch now, you're very much behind. So we were lucky. An example, when COVID hit us, so 2020, in that year, we did 7 million videos on demand and 5 million streams on the social channels, because we already had it.
Yep.
So at that time, it kept our members happy. Other operators had to buy that service because they didn't have it. So for us, it's more cost effective, and cost effectiveness is the only way for us to stay relevant. We want to be at the €20 price point as long as we can, because we really believe we should allow a big group of people to stay healthy. We've learned in the COVID period that there's a sort of inequality of the possibility to have a healthy lifestyle. So we believe that we should bring that possibility to many more people. So we're in big cities, in every part of the city, and we also believe we have a social role to help people at lower income level also to achieve this healthy lifestyle.
That's beautiful. That's great. And you were mentioning, Marcel, when we got on before we started recording, that you and of course Renee and your brand are becoming much more involved with public policy to try to raise awareness about what the benefits are of the service of exercise and lifestyle that you provide. Europe has had in general, I mean, I was just in Germany in November and in southern Germany and watched that go on. And it's been quite a few years. how is that going for you with respect to public policy? Because you operate in multiple countries in Europe. What are the challenges that you've been facing there?
I think when COVID hit us, so March 2020, we were very much behind in this political arena and decision making at that level, and still they made decision which influenced our clubs. I mean, we have had lockdowns for so long that we lost millions, tens of millions. So we really had to invest to tell people what we really are about, because there was still there after so many years, there's still a lot of people who think of us of sweating places with no ventilation and just bodybuilders, and it's not reflecting where we are as an industry. And I think certainly in our markets we've been behind telling that to the level of Parliament and so on. And UK has been an example. They've been much better at that, and UK Active has really been a good promoter. And also in the US, there's already much more information at that level. So we started from scratch, but within the 2 years, I think we now achieved that they see sport is essential. And the Parliament here, we are based in the Netherlands, and we were the only country which was still in lockdown till last Friday. But last week we had an event in The Hague where the Parliament is, and we had 7 members of Parliament to visit us, the minister, the former prime minister visiting us, and they really are behind the message sport is essential. So they really see that this is a health crisis and we should help people to build their own immune system. And it takes an awful lot of time, because I've had so many talks and spent so many time talking to people, but it's worthwhile. Now we are at a better level. I don't think we will see another lockdown soon, because people cannot accept that anymore. But also that we are better set in a better position for the future, that people really see, hey, they are part of the preventative health system. They can really contribute. And one of the new services we have built, we launched just this month, can help there. We launched a personal online coach, which means that we have our coaching our PTs, personal trainers and physios in our clubs. But we launched an online coaching system with our own coaches, so they can, in an hour that they have no clients, support 40 till 50 clients online. And this is the perfect balance between man and machine. We believe the human contact is really important. People don't like they don't get hooked on talking to a machine. So the human touch is really important. But the system, and we've seen the example of Babylon Health, part of the Bill Gates Foundation. They are really clever in helping the doctors with the knowledge from the books. We've done the same with our training experts. So we've built the tool to create training programs. So when a customer buys our personal online coach, they got an app with a chat, directly a chat with the personal trainer. The personal trainer says, hello, I'm going to be your trainer for the next 12 weeks. I'm going to create a training program for you. He pushes one button and the training program flows. And we've made the training program for 12 weeks. So the only thing he has to do is to react, helped by our triggers, on the progress, react on the chat. If someone wants more information, he's got a library, he can plug and play information, content, training programs from the library, and it feels really personal. And we trained these people who are usually very much oriented on physical training. We trained them in communication, how to maintain a relation online. Like working on a WhatsApp chat, how can you get a really personal feeling? And that's really helping, because people are looking for a buddy. They cannot stay motivated on their own. They need a buddy to stay motivated, and that's what this is. So it feels really like a complete service, because it's not only training, it's also information about food habits, and so on. So pretty complete, and that's for €60 for 12 weeks, which means €5 a week. We offer this program. So we try to disrupt this service so everybody can have a personal trainer online.
That's fantastic. I've read about that innovation, and congratulations for pulling that off. I'm sure it's going to be a giant success. Marcel, having been in the industry for a while, for a long time, and contributing as you have to BasicFit, any advice that you would give for professionals, any wisdom that you would provide for people in their careers today regarding the industry space? What would you be willing to share as far as pearls of wisdom go?
Well, I've been in this industry for a while, for more than 20 years, and I've always liked the sports industry, and I've been in sports shoes as well. We've got a very informal way of dealing with each other and in the industry, and it's very open, transparent. People share the same passion. So if you like the industry, I think there's a lot of chances, but you have to look beyond only that passion for training. You have to look what other companies are doing. You have to be curious. We learned a lot from seeing a convention of Salesforce. I mean, the Dreamforce event in San Francisco, you see what other companies are doing. We visited Apple in Cupertino. We like to see what other companies are doing and why they are so good in their profession. So don't think everything is already known in our industry. You have to look outside as well. And personally, what I like is, you're never too old to learn. So I like following webinars, courses, visiting trade fairs, talk to other people. So you always can learn one thing from one discussion. It's a good story. I have set up the K-Swiss shoe brand in Europe before I was in the fitness industry, and the owner at that time was an American guy, Stephen Nichols, a really nice guy who really understands shoes. And when he would visit Amsterdam, we would go in one street which has 24 shoe stores. And we started one side of the road, and at the end, we would have bought 24 pairs of shoes. And he would take one little piece of one shoe, the ID, or another piece of the other shoe, and then come with IDs. So we usually thrown away half of the pair of shoes. And when we come to the stores and they asked us the size, he says, whatever size you have. So people would look at us, what are these guys doing? But that idea of taking one small ID from something and then apply it to your business, that's what I really believe in. You can make a difference with even 1% a week or a month improvement. Don't go straight away for big changes, but try to improve every time 1%, and you end up at the same level.
That is a great piece of advice for our listeners. Marcel, thank you so much for making time today. I hope our listeners appreciate even more what you and the BasicFit brand are doing for the industry and your great success. It's a pleasure to see you. I hope I will be seeing you in the Netherlands again in a few months' time when things get back to final normalness.
You're always welcome.
Well, listen, I'm a big fan of you and the brand, and just in awe of what you've done and continue to do. So it's a great honor to have you on, and thank you for making time this morning and your afternoon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hello, listeners. This is Bryan O'Rourke, and thanks so much for listening to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast. The podcast is made possible by the Fitness Industry Technology Council, a consortium of global brands working together to enhance the adoption of technologies in the fitness space. Our company, Videri Ventures, which is invested in Vertimax, Montezuma, Gold's Gym, Houston, Texas, and Fitness 24/7 Thailand, also underwrites the podcast, along with our service companies, Integris Advisors, Moon Mission Media, and others. Please feel free to share this podcast with your colleagues. And if I can be of any assistance to you, don't hesitate to reach out, brianko'rourke@gmail.com, or find me on any of the major social networks. Have a great day, and thanks for listening.